how many of you know someone who has diabetes? Wow, quite a few. Well, that's not surprising because about 10% of the US population has diabetes, and that percentage is increasing. Today I'll talk about the treatment of type 1 diabetes, which is usually diagnosed in children and young adults. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease that destroys cells in the pancreas so that it is no longer capable of producing insulin. And insulin is a hormone that the body uses to convert glucose, or sugar, into energy needed for daily life. Without insulin, the body cannot regulate the amount of glucose that's in the blood, and so people with type 1 diabetes often suffer from high and low blood glucose levels. Having high blood glucose over a number of years can lead to blindness, kidney disease, nerve damage, heart attack, and stroke, whereas low blood glucose can have immediate consequences, such as unconsciousness or even death in extreme cases. Type 1 diabetes cannot be prevented, and there is no cure. The only way to treat type 1 diabetes is with a careful combination of food, exercise, and externally delivered insulin. So it is up to the individual to monitor his or her blood glucose with a glucose meter and administer insulin with an injection several times per day. Now this can be very difficult, especially for young kids. More recently, monitoring blood glucose and administering insulin has become much easier with new continuous glucose sensors and insulin pumps. But there is still a very important problem to be addressed, and that is, how do we use the measurements from the glucose sensor to automatically determine when and how much insulin to deliver? And how do we control the insulin pump to automatically deliver that insulin without any user intervention? That's the whole idea behind an artificial pancreas, and that's where my research comes in. I developed mathematical algorithms that are able to use the measurements from the glucose sensor in order to compute the optimal amount of insulin to deliver, while also predicting how that insulin affects blood glucose in the future. This figure shows the results of the algorithm, where in the top we see blood glucose level throughout the day, and in the bottom we see the amount of insulin that is delivered. Just as a healthy pancreas is able to produce more insulin in response to eating a meal in order to bring blood glucose levels back down to a safe zone, so also the algorithm commands more insulin to be delivered after a meal is eaten. And it's able to do this without delivering too much insulin and driving blood glucose levels dangerously below the safe zone. Now we hope that this algorithm will help make an artificial pancreas a reality in the near future and will greatly improve the lives of millions of people with type 1 diabetes. Thank you.